With the progression of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's definitely easy to be disheartened by somber reports in your local or global newspapers. However, here at the Phillipian, we believe that it's also important to focus on the ways in which people are lending a hand to their communities to combat these difficult times. This week, we decided to speak to Andover students who are working with their local communities to help curb the pandemic. We wanted to share their stories, not only to thank them for their hard work, but in hopes of inspiring you too. Here are live reporters, Cheryl Tugade and Cahill, with the story.
Thank you. When talking to these students, we noticed that many decided to tackle the lack of personal protective equipment, abbreviated PPE, in hospitals. One student we talked to, Halley Wadell, class of 21, is currently working with her father, Brian Wadell, to 3D print face shields to deliver to Lawrence General Hospital, a local hospital nearby Andover.
One of the things that has been really in short supply for the medical professionals has been personal protection equipment or face shields, respirators, etc. So we have used an online design which has been modified based on feedback from the doctors, and we're 3D printing it right here at home in our attic. When the face shield is completed, it looks like this. There's a top part, there's a stiffener, there's the plastic shield itself, and there's a strap that's used to hold it to your head. This is usually worn over an N95 mask to stop any spray or sneezes, that kind of thing. We've produced 182 face shields and delivered them to Tufts Medical, MGH, and the Bear Hill Nursing Home here in Reading and Andover.
And Wadell isn't the only one using 3D printers for creating protective equipment. Halfway across the world, Harry's CHANPAIBOONRAT, class of 21, is also printing PPE for his own project titled Print for COVID Bangkok.
Print for COVID Bangkok is a project that connects people who 3D print with hospitals across Thailand that are in need of PPE, specifically face shields. We started by 3D printing our own face shields and donating them to hospitals. Our work is mainly to communicate with both sides and ensure that face shields get from their makers to their recipients.
CHANPAIBOONRAT hopes that his work will serve as an example, inspiring others in the Andover community to help their local communities.
I think that studying at a place that is far from home makes it easy for me to be disconnected from my local community, and makes it even more difficult to make a positive impact on my fellow citizens. So now that I'm studying from home, I feel that it is my responsibility to help my home country in any way I can. I encourage everyone to think about their local community and what it needs most at the moment, and then assess their resources to figure out how they might be able to help.
Another group of students we interviewed are also helping combat COVID-19 through raising funds for Lawrence General Hospital. We spoke with Mariah Bayani, class of 21, who is working alongside Zach Moynihan, David Zhu, and Sophia Cordover. After being unable to volunteer at Lawrence General Hospital this term due to the pandemic, these students decided to help in another way.
Since David lives in China, he is able to purchase surgical masks and ship them to frontline workers in the U.S. According to LGH's website, funds for surgical masks are listed as a high priority. Our mission is to benefit those dedicated to their health professions at LGH as they put themselves at risk to take care of patients with COVID-19.
The group's goal for the project is to raise $2,000, enough to purchase 3,400 masks for the hospital. As a student from Singapore, one of the first countries to be affected by COVID-19, Bayani recognizes the serious problem presented by lack of medical equipment. She feels that this fundraiser is important because it will help give Lawrence General Hospital the supplies it needs to be able to provide adequate treatment to COVID-19 patients.
To spread the word for our campaign, David, Zach, Sophia, and I started a GoFundMe called PPE Donations to Lawrence General Hospital. We have shared this link on our various social media platforms. We plan to continue to share this link with members not just in the Andover community, and encourage everyone who is unable to donate to share the link with others.
Ryan Mai, class of 21, started his nonprofit organization, Durian, in 2018 with his sister with the goal of supporting rural communities in Vietnam through programs such as providing meals for elementary school children. Now that his programs in Vietnam have been temporarily suspended, he decided to focus his efforts on distributing 2,000 face masks to seniors in low-income areas of New York City. After being unable to order a large shipment of N95 masks from China, Durian decided to try something else.
So we looked into sourcing masks from Vietnam specifically, and we ended up placing an order for 5,000 street masks, and we are distributing that to senior care facilities in high-risk areas in New York City, which obviously is a current hotspot right now.
My hopes that this work will have at least a small impact on the communities he's sending masks to. He speaks on the importance of his work.
We're finding that the U.S. needs serious help in managing this COVID-19 pandemic. So the irony is that, we're taking help, we're sourcing materials from these less developed countries, and we're bringing them here to the U.S., which should have these supplies, which should have the infrastructure to deal with a pandemic like this one. And again, this is important to me personally because I think as an organization based in the U.S., I have a responsibility to kind of help out in my own community, and I'm just really happy to be able to play a small part in doing that.
Cheryl Tugade reporting.
Claire Cahill reporting.